Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm here with your instant match reaction to Aston Villa nil, Arsenal 2. Please hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. I know it was a disappointing afternoon at Aston Villa, but hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 5K. Get your comments in, your thoughts on today's game that ultimately was down to two massive chances missed by Ollie Watkins and a key substitution from Mikel Arteta of Leandro Trossard. And that is basically what won the game. It was a very even game, all in all, and a very much a early season game. Both teams not wanting to take too many risks, both teams cancelling each other out, and ultimately the clinical finishing, the big substitution was the thing that changed it. But we'll get into all of that and talk a few performances as well, because I do think there was some really positive signs for Aston Villa as well in that game, and we did really compete, particularly physically, with Arsenal, which I think does bode well for us for the rest of the season. Now, the starting lineup: Emi Martinez in goal. We thought Matty Cash might be injured, but he was in the starting lineup. Ezri Konsa and Pau Torres at centre back and Luka Dean at left back. Amadou Onana and Yuri Tielemans in that midfield with McGinn and Rogers in front, and then Leon Bailey operating off the right and Ollie Watkins up front. And as I said right from the start, it was very, very cagey. Both teams were trying to play it across the back, trying to draw each other out. And it was almost like a real standoff. And there was a few elements, a few moments where we managed to play the ball through the lines and get the ball wide and put it into the box, but it usually got snuffled out and blocked out. And the similar thing for Arsenal, they were trying to play balls through, and they couldn't really get Odegaard in the game. They couldn't get Havertz in the game, and both teams are cancelling each other out, which I guess is a good sign for Aston Villa, but was always building up to a moment where someone would have to take the initiative, or a mistake, or something would change the course of the game. Now, midway through that first half, Aston Villa had a golden opportunity to take the lead. Ball fell to Ollie Watkins off a pass from Morgan Rogers. I think it might have been a mistake at the back from Arsenal. Morgan Rogers carried on through with the ball, laid it to Watkins, put it on an absolute plate for him, and he did the keeper with his eyes, but he pulled it wide of the post, didn't hit the target, and missed to the right hand side of the post. And yeah, a poor miss from him, and really should have put us 1-0 up. Now, Morgan Rogers was the player of that first half who was really looking like he could make the difference. He grew into it as it went on, and he was really starting to move with the ball. And you see him running with the ball. He's brushing past Declan Rice. He's brushing past Thomas Partey, and just fantastic movement, fantastic running with the ball. And it really does bode well for the rest of the season. Matty Cash had to go off early on in that first half as well. Hamstring injury, I believe, or may have gone over on his ankle. I'm not 100% sure, but you question marks as to whether he should have started or not. Nedeljkovic came on and started off a little bit shaky, didn't quite know where he was playing. And Martinelli, if he'd have been on any sort of form, I think he would have really struggled against him. He would have really done well in that early stage. But Nedeljkovic did grow into the game and started to do well. But you kind of thought that that was an area where Arsenal could really exploit, and ultimately that was the part where it was. Now, second half started, and Villa really did start off quite well. I think Morgan Rogers again was running through, causing real problems, and had an effort that just went wide. I do have to mention an effort in the first half from Saka. Emi Martinez making a great save, but that was really it. Rogers, yeah, had a really good effort running through again, just brushing players off, just absolutely fantastic. I can't speak highly enough of this guy when he's running with the ball. He is just fantastic. Keep it. Raya saves it and goes wide, and it's a corner. And then the moment of the game, the real moment that really changed the course of the game. Villa have a great attack, working their way through. Ball come on the left-hand side. I believe it might have been McGinn, plays it across. Onana running onto the ball, hits the shot. It deflects off Gabriel loops over Raya, hits the bar, comes back down. Ollie Watkins, diving header. He doesn't put it into the corner, but you think he thinks he scored. Everybody thinks he scored, but Raya somehow dives and tips it and saves it. And that is the moment. That was the 1-0 moment. That was the game-changing moment ultimately for Aston Villa and for Arsenal in that game. And then after that, I don't think we quite got our heads in the game. I think we thought that was the real killer moment, and it took us a little while to get our kind of focus back. And the substitutions came on. Ramsey came on. Duran came on, and they did well. They weren't bad at all. But the key substitution for Arsenal was Trossard, and he came on for Martinelli. And literally with his first touch, he scored. Now, ball was down the right hand side. Again, slightly fortuitous how it came about. Dini was blocking Saka a little bit. The ball ran on. Saka managed just to keep the ball in play, crosses it into the box. It bounces off an Arsenal player into Rodgers, bounces off Rodgers, who makes the tackle, right into Trossard's path, who's running onto it, and he hits the ball into the bottom corner. Wrong foots Martinez, and it's 1-0. And ultimately, that was the killer moment. First touch from Trossard, killer substitution, similar to Aston Villa's last week, where Matson and Ramsey and Duran linked up, and it was that substitution that changed it. And then obviously Villa brought Barkley on, brought Matson on, and at that point they couldn't quite get the rhythm of the game, the flow of the game, and kind of lost their heads a little bit. And Thomas Partey took advantage. Barkley a little bit too deep, doesn't go out and press him. Saka gets the ball on the right hand side, cuts it back to Partey, who's picked his spot into the bottom corner. Martinez gets a hand to it, could and should do better really, into the bottom corner, and that's 2-0 and game over to Arsenal. And they really did defend very well, and I have to shout out Gabriel and Saliba. They were excellent. Saliba really did marshal Watkins very well, other than, as I say, the two chances that Watkins had. And they just didn't let many passes through. There was a moment where we could have got it back to 2-1. Lovely passing move into Duran, into Rodgers, flicks it out, flicks it out to Duran. Duran plays Ramsey in. Ramsey's got two touches. He clear of the defense, but Saliba somehow manages to get back, slides in as Ramsey's about to take his shot, and puts it out for a corner. And that was probably the moment where Villa, if they were going to get anything out of the game, they needed to score at that moment. And Arsenal saw the game through, probably could have had a third. Odegaard putting the ball over, and one or two other efforts. And yeah, the game kind of petered out from there, unfortunately. And that's it. Two teams were very evenly matched, I would say. And I guess the ironic thing is, last season we won 1-0 at home, and we're really, really hanging on. And this game, we created two or three really, really good chances. Should have gone ahead, but didn't. And Arsenal make the substitutions and are more clinical than us. But in terms of competing physically, I thought we were much better. I thought Onana was excellent in parts. I thought Tielemans, again, very, very good. Rodgers was absolutely fantastic. It's just getting Ollie Watkins, John McGinn, and Leon Bailey back to some sort of freshness and full fitness. I do think we need one or two players as well. I'm worried. I was worried already with Matty Cash as the number one right back, but I'm worried if Nedeljkovic is the understudy at right back, because physically, in terms, he's pace wise, he's fine, but physically, I don't know how well he'll do against strong wide men. And then substitutions that are coming in, I'm just not too sure about that. Konsa and Pau Torres, fine. Luca Dean, fine. And Matson came on and did well. It's just that right back position and those three key players, McGinn, Watkins, and Bailey. And I think in terms of McGinn and Watkins, takes them off at 60 minutes or so again, really trying to ease them in. But we need reinforcements. We need backups for those players. John Duran is fine, but can you rely on him every single game? Is it time to maybe give John Duran a start against Leicester? You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. Does Watkins need a bit of time to come back, get fit? We've seen Bellingham get injured. Is he running on empty at the moment? So I think we need reinforcements. I really do. I think we need a forward player. I would say we probably need another a sort of attacking midfielder, and we certainly need another right back. So hopefully we're going to be busy in this last week of the transfer window. But ultimately, Arsenal, fair play, clinical. It was a tight game, but you guys came out on top this time. Hopefully we can get you back at the Emirates later on in the season. Make sure you hit that like button, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll be back with a full match reaction later on tonight, 10 p.m. So don't miss out. Keep your eyes open for the show. But get your comments in, your thoughts on the game. I really want to see what your thoughts were. Did we play well? Where did we go wrong? What do we do about this transfer window? Where do we need to strengthen? But ultimately, thank you for watching. And as always, remember, we'll follow the Villa.